Hey, don't you remember? I'm your pal. Buddy, can you spare a dime?
Today we'll be discussing the causes and effects of the Great Depression. Go ahead and take a look at this list and notice these are the causes we'll be discussing. In this first half of the video, I'll be explaining how living on credit, practicing bad farming techniques, the failure of key industries, implementation of trade barriers, and poor stock investment led to the Great Depression. People were living on credit by using installment plans. People paid little money to get the items they wanted, such as refrigerators, as you can see here, and would just pay it off later. This was like having multiple credit card debts at one time. Also, people were farming poorly. They did not rotate their crops, which would help spur the Dust Bowl. Besides farmers not making much money from overproduction, key industries like mining, steel, and textiles did not do as well as others. These are foundation industries in an economy and need to do well. Even worse, when trade was most vital, the Hawley-Smoot tariff placed a high tax on imports. Mr. Hawley and Mr. Smoot, as seen here in this picture, thought it was necessary to do this to protect American businesses. Finally, poor investing in the stock market made a crash inevitable. Inexperienced investors had been borrowing money against the stocks that hadn't even paid off yet. Moving right along in our list, we're here to the great stock market crash of 1929, also known as Black Tuesday. Notice on this chart how quickly the stock market fell. Prior to Black Tuesday, the market was at its peak, and then immediately dropped on Black Tuesday. It only continued to get worse from there. Following the stock market crash of 1929, many people rushed to the banks to make sure all their money was safe and to get it into their pockets. Because of this, many banks were forced to close down. Besides banks closing, the Great Depression caused a lack of food, the creation of Hoovervilles, droughts in the Dust Bowl, and a lack of jobs. In addition, many long-term effects including higher suicide rates, a loss of desire to go to college, and a sense of lifelong thriftiness plagued the people of this generation. Breadlines and soup kitchens provided cheap or free meals to those people who were out of work. Also, many people lost their homes, so for shelter they were forced to build shacks from whatever they could find, naming them Hoovervilles, a direct insult to President Hoover. Remember those bad farming techniques from before the Great Depression began? This caused severe dust storms from the destroyed topsoil. Because of this, many people were forced to leave the Midwest. Also, there was a severe lack of jobs during the Great Depression. Thousands of men who had had jobs beforehand suddenly found themselves on the streets trying to find work. The Great Depression also had many long-term effects as well as psychological effects. One of them was that suicides went up because many people felt there was just no hope. Additionally, many people decided that they simply didn't care enough to go to college. Many also decided not to get married or have kids. Finally, it became many people's lifelong goals to never be hungry ever again, and developed a sense of lifelong thriftiness. Fortunately, this time of great despair would soon be over with the election of a new president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
They used to tell me I was building a dream, and so I followed the mob. When there was earth to plow or guns to bear, I was always there, right on the job.